Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma.
have you been practicing
Yes,
on
I
your
have,
own?
ma.
Not just in class, on your own.
Yes, I do. I have, ma. I've been
Okay.
practicing.
Okay, that's good to know. You're welcome. You're welcome to the class. Yes. So
Thank you, ma.
my name is Joy Agagwu. If you are joining us for the first time, I'd like to welcome you and just to let you know that when you coming into the class, endeavor to have your video on and let your audio be muted. Okay, your audio is continuously muted except you are asked to talk or you've been asked to unmute your audio. I partner with overseas nurses. I tutor for overseas nurses. We assist you, help you see how we can put you under the challenge to pass your IELTS and then pick up your relocation processes from there. We are able to guide you from the point of IELTS to CBT to NMC verification to getting a job, what to do, what not to do, how to go about it until you are fully relocated to the United Kingdom. We do not employ people, but we have links with employers. So because someone sent me a message and was asking for a job, you send a message, we go through processes with you, and then with our partners and the people we work with, we um, help you to see how you can come over. All right, so just a quick one. So anyone watching this video or you're thinking that overseas nurses have a hospital where they employ people, that's not how it is. All right, we're here to assist you, we're here to help you, we're here to guide you. And if you have any confusions, please don't hesitate to let us know. You can send your message to overseas@gmail.com and then overseas IELTS@gmail.com. That is for the IELTS um, work. When you have your tasks given to you as assignments or as homework or as anything, or we've done a class work and I've asked that you should rewrite and send it to the mail, please send it to overseas IELTS@gmail.com. When you are sending your documents and every other thing that has to do with your employment preparations, probably because you have passed your IELTS, you've done verification or anything like that, you send those to overseas@gmail.com. There's a difference in those two mails. So other than that, you are welcome to the class. If you are watching us from YouTube, you are welcome to the class this afternoon. I actually have so many viewers on YouTube than I have in the live classes. That's so good to know. I hope that you're learning something. I hope you are understanding what is happening. If at any point you are joining this class and you do not understand what is happening, probably as a result of um, if you are not able to catch up because we have gone a bit farther than where you are, I will advise you that you go back to the YouTube page, the YouTube channel, and watch the videos, the previous videos. Those that have been following us from the beginning, many of them have passed their test, and of course, some have given up along the way. We don't get to see many of those anymore. So yes, if you are following from the beginning, good for you. If you are not and you're just joining, I will encourage you that as much as possible, go to the YouTube channel, follow the videos. If I were you, I will go search for the writing task, probably start from writing task 1. All right, and then you do writing task 1, you go up all of the writing task 1 up to date. That will help you to learn. It will help you to be exposed to some class activities that we did in the past. Good afternoon, Simbiat. You are welcome. So yes, you will also be able to catch up with the class on time when you watch or when you join us again in the recent ones that we are doing. I do understand that all of us cannot be on the same page, but if you do yourself and me a favor by going through what we have done before, it can bring you up to where we are. That way we can flow well. Is that all right? So search for writing task 1, go through it, go for writing task 2, there is speaking on there, and then we have listening that I said people should get that online. I just gave, I think I have 2 classes on listening. Those classes were just tips on the listening. There are no listening practices yet on our page, and we will try and see if we can get some listening practices uploaded there for you. But at the moment, I encourage you to use Career Zone. Okay, Career Zone is very good. That's what I used for my listening practices. They even have reading practices as well, and their reading is such that if you don't keep to time, everything goes away at the end of the day. So yes, those places are good for you to practice with. All right. You can get the Cambridge series, Cambridge from Cambridge 12 or 13 upwards. Those Cambridge textbooks, they are up to date. You can use them. Go online. Some of them you may have to pay for. Okay, if you have to pay for it, please, if you think you need it enough to pay for it, go for it. Pay for it, download it, share it with your people, whatever you want to do with it. Practice. Don't just download. There are so many people I gave IELTS materials to in 2018 before my phone crashed and I lost all of those materials. Many of them have those materials on their phone. They'll tell, oh, Sister Joy, you sent me this one. Oh, Sister Joy, I have that one. Yes, they are not practicing. Till today, many of them have not written. It's not enough for you to download materials. It's not enough for you to have materials. You're looking for materials. Every IELTS group you are in, you are looking for material. Send me questions. Send me materials. You just gather them and you're not doing anything with it. You're not helping yourself. IELTS is all about practicing. If you don't practice, you can't pass. And if you think that you are good on your own, try and test yourself. You will discover that you are not good on your own. You say, I know the answer in my mind. What if that is not the correct answer? And then you write it and you fumble. So it is best for you to practice, see your mistakes, get them corrected, adhere to instructions, do your corrections at the end of the day, bring yourself up to date, go a step higher, learn something new every day about what you're about to step into, and you'll be surprised at what you can do when you look back from to where you started from. That said, today it is writing task 1. Writing task 1, it's a task where you will be writing not an essay per se, but a report. The writing task 1 is the type that expects you to report something. You're reporting, usually we are very lucky with task 1 where they give you diagrams. The diagrams can be a graph, it can be a map, it can be what is it? A floor map, okay? It can be pie chart, bar chart, line graph, can be anything. There are many types of tasks that you will find in task 1, okay? But the good thing is you have something to look at. So here, you are not going to crack your brain so much like you will in task 2. Task 2, you have to write with your own English, you have to write with your own ideas, okay? But in task 1, they've given you an idea. They just expect you to report on something that you are seeing, something that is before you. It makes it a bit easier. Here, you are expected to write not less than 150 words, and the task should be completed in 20 minutes. Task 1, task 2 together is 1 hour. So task 1, 20 minutes, task 2, 40 minutes. Task 1, task 2 together, 400 words at least. Task 1, 150 words, task 2, 250 words at least. I advise people to not write at most 30 or 40 words above the recommended words. 30, 40 words above the recommended words is enough. 30 for task 1 and maybe 40 for task 2. This is because when you have too many words written, you are prone to committing error. Remember that they are going to subtract your marks if you have too many errors in your work. going by the way the writing is done, you are expected to write according to certain criteria. You're expected to write according to certain criteria. There are different criteria, the same headings for the criteria, but different expectations under them for writing task 1 or writing task 2. And these criteria, they are called the band descriptors. Where we have your task achievement or response, we have grammatical range and accuracy, lexical resource, vocabularies. Okay, we have coherence and cohesion. Now, for your task 1, we will be discussing these things under what is expected as per the task. All right, so for your task completion, task achievement, okay, task response, what is expected of you is that you should have not less than 150 words. You should complete the task in 20 minutes, okay, and you should have answered every aspect of the task. They will ask you a question and say report on or highlight on the main features. Remember that I did explain before that as you are highlighting, you're already summarizing. So there's nothing like saying, okay, let me highlight first of all, I'll go and do the summary later. No, it's not a task 2 where you are going to be giving your words, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and we say conclusion is a summary of both body paragraphs. Now, this is not completely the same for everything in task 1. In task 1, you need to get a dividing point. You need to get how you're arranging your points. So depending on the type of diagram that you are given, what you are expected to do as per your task achievement is different. We are going to be solving these tasks one after the other. We will see examples of them so that when you see any of them in your exams, you know how to tackle the questions. For task achievement and response, not less than 150 words. You should have answered every aspect of the task, all right? Then also you should finish your task in not more than 20 minutes. Coherence and cohesion has to do with the flow between your work. Has to do with how you follow the structure of the writing task. I told us that the writing task is the one that have 3 paragraphs as per the structure. The first paragraph is your overall statement, and the second paragraph and the third are your overviews. Now, what information is in your overview is dependent on what type of question that you are solving. Irrespective of what question you have, your overall statement is the same type of information that it should have. An overall statement have a general statement, okay, which is your question prompt paraphrase, and what you can see, and overall, what you can see, what you can conclude. Something about writing task 1 is a fact that from your beginning, you will be able to tell us what the trend is, what it is, like give me a summary, an overall summary of what is in the whole of this work that you're doing. That's one difference between task 1 and task 2. Task 1, it looks like you are summarizing or you are giving a conclusion already from your overall statement. That's what it looks like, but it's not a conclusion. For instance, if I have a process graph, all right, and there are 15 steps in this process graph, okay, and the process graph is talking about the production of beans cake, akara. How akara is made, how bean cake is made. Now, they will tell you that the given diagram is a picture, is an illustration of the processes involved in the processing or in the making, in the production, in the manufacturing of bean cake, akara. For your overall statement, you are going to paraphrase whatever the question prompt is for me. That will make your overall statement. That will make me the general statement. Then you are going to write overall what you can see, like you are concluding on what you can see. What can you see? These 15 steps begin from the selection of the beans, to the soaking of the beans, to deshelling or dechaffing, all right, removing the chaff, washing of the beans, to allowing to soak well, to grinding of the beans, all right, to mixing, to adding of the ingredients. Okay, it keeps going until the heating of the oil, okay, and the dishing out of the already made bean cake paste, and then the turning of the bean cake that is in the process, the turning of the akara, all right, on fire, to when it is fully ready, to when it is served. So it begins from the producer onto the consumer. This is a 15-step or 15-staged process. For example, your overall statement for this kind of question, how is it going to look like? Overall, there are 15 steps in the making of beans cake, beginning from the selection of the beans to the frying of the beans cake, where it is finally processed, all right, where the akara is finally made and then distributed to the consumers for eating or served to the consumers. Your overall statement is going to give me a summary of what you can see. So here you are giving a summary before you even start. It is in the overview that you are going to tell me all of the stories of how it is happening. If you have a graph, okay, that shows that more male children were delivered in the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, okay, the above diagram is a graph of the number of male and female children delivered in the labor room of the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada. There's a graph. This graph has the Y and the X axis. In this graph, you can see that it started earlier, maybe with them in the year 2000, okay? In January 2000, there were more girls. February, more girls. March, more boys. April, more girls again. May, more boys. June, more boys. July, more boys. August, more boys. September, more boys. December, then finally to December, more girls. You see the overall number of girls that were delivered and the overall number of boys that were delivered. Now, you can see from this graph, from the plotting, from what I have just said, that there were fluctuations between the male and the female deliveries in the course of the months. At the end of the month, at the end of the year in December, you now have more girls delivered more than boys. At the beginning, more girls were delivered more than boys. In January, more babies were girls. In December, more babies were girls. But in the course of the year, at some point, there was an increase in the delivery of boys more than that of the girls. Overall, what can you see? Overall, there were more female deliveries than males, although fluctuations in between the years existed, but ended in the favor of more girls than boys, isn't it? From what I have explained. Is that not what it is? Is this not the summary of the graph that we've just plotted verbally? This is the summary of the graph, isn't it? Are we writing it at the end? No, we are writing it from the beginning. Overall statement is what you can see at merely looking at this. You can see that more females were born than males. Although there were fluctuations, don't forget to mention any major difference in that your overall statement. Although there were fluctuations, there were more female deliveries at the end than the boys. Now, if for instance in this graph, this same graph, at the beginning, more boys were born more than girls, but at the end, the number for girls increased, okay, above that of the boys. What kind of an overall statement will you then have? Overall, although male delivery started or was higher at the initial stage than the females, however, more girls were delivered at the end of the year than the boys due to what? The fluctuations in the years or in the months. You can say it anyhow. Just make sure you are giving the correct information from what you can see. It comes in your overall statement. Does it make sense to anybody? Bolajoko Bello, Temiloluwa Gold. We do have a rule in this house. When you come here, you have your video on, you have your audio muted. Please, if you are anywhere you cannot have your video on, we do understand. Please join the YouTube class. Thank you. So yes, the overall statement is like a summary at the beginning of your work. Then what will be our overview? I said that your overview should be 2 paragraphs. Your overview is the report. Your overview is the detail of what you are going to be talking about. For me, if I have this kind of graph, I have male and female. I am going to select or write in 2 ways. One of the ways is to choose to discuss the trends for the boys first in 1 paragraph. Discuss everything about the girls in 1 paragraph. Okay? Then the second paragraph, I will now discuss everything for the girls. That is one way. Another way that I may want to handle this is for me to choose to discuss according to the trends. According to the trends. For instance, I can choose to discuss if there were, I can choose to take from January to June and then go from June to July in this kind of graph. This is the kind of variables that I have. This is just an example I'm giving you. I created this graph in my head now, and we are using it as a sample. So don't go and say, Nurse Joy said we must. No, it's not a must. You need to use your brain to think of where to have your dividing point. What kind of dividing point am I going to have? Sometimes you can choose in your first paragraph to talk about the highest occurring, lowest occurring, okay, the ones that remain stable. Then in the previous, in the subsequent one, you can now talk about the all other factors, every other thing that are there. When you choose highest occurring, lowest occurring, and all of that, you are comparing, you are making comparisons. When you have graphs, you can hear them say compare and contrast, or compare this, compare that. You can hear that in your graphs. You are describing and comparing at the same time. Don't say, let me describe first, then I'll now go and compare. No, in the course of your report, what you are actually doing is that you're reporting in a way that you're describing and you are comparing or contrasting the variables. You are comparing the values for these different variables. One thing you need to know, there are certain things about the writing task 1 that are related specifically to the type of tasks that you have. When you have a line graph, for example, having considered this structure that we are following, you need to note whether it is about percentages or about numbers. Okay, so that you not go and be writing something that is just number. You're writing 10%. It's number 1 is 10, and you're writing 10%. So many of us we are so used to certain things that we become very rigid. Even when you see a different question, you attack it the way you are attacking the previous question. Meanwhile, the pattern is the same, but the variables are different. The informations are different. So we need to be careful. If the information is different, you need to answer it in a different way, using what you are given. Don't have any specific preformed, crammed, pattern in your brain, so that when you get into the exam hall or when you see these different question types, you will be able to attack them. Be flexible with your thinking so that you can answer accordingly. Growing up, I used to have mates that we cram. They know how to cram. Even in nursing school, I had a mate that crammed many things in Rose and Wilson, and will say them word for word in nursing school. And I was wondering, I'll be like, when she's talking in class, I'll be like, this girl they read though, this girl can read though. I didn't know that she was cramming, because some of us went to nursing school as per old age. We didn't go. I didn't go to nursing school when I was very young or younger than I went. Okay, I had finished giving birth. My last baby was about getting to 4 years when I got admission into a school of nursing. So imagine someone who had a 10-year-old and almost an 8-year-old and then a 4-year-old, and I left them and went to school. So I had many things to deal with already being in school. Okay, and then I was shuttling between Lokoja and Abuja that time, because I needed to be home like every weekend, maybe to cook, to wash. They had enough uniforms that we wear them throughout the week, and then I come home on Saturday to do all the washing, cook some food to stock, and then go back and all that. So I had many things going on for me. There were times I came back from Lokoja on Monday morning to enter the exam hall. I took those risks, but I never had a receipt, and I thank God for that. That's a story for another day. Okay, so you can imagine that me with all of these problems, and then I have people whose brains were burning in the class. People that before the teacher will finish asking the questions, their hands are up, and I'm like, God, am I in the same class with these people? What is happening to me? So there were many of them that were cramming, but I didn't know they were cramming. When I was reading to understand, they were reading, they were cramming things. And the problem with cramming is the fact that the brain is rigid. It has created the pathway. The brain was not put under duress or under any form of challenge to think of different ways of answering it. They just know this one straight, bam, from beginning to Z. So if anything gets missing in the course of it, they lose direction, and that's the end of it. Common definition of things. They will cram the definition in such a way that you will be afraid when they have finished saying it, as if they were the ones that said. So it's the same thing that applies to IELTS. If you train your brain in such a way that you are not flexible, if you get to the exam hall, if you forget anything, you are hooked, and then you start crying from the exam hall. So you need to let your brain be flexible, to think up ideas, to think up the different ways, to practice and be used to the different ways of answering these questions, so that it depends. Anyone you now see, you will be able to answer at the end of the day. Does it make sense to anyone? It makes sense, yeah? Okay, so yes, there are different question types that you will find in the IELTS task, and we're talking about what, before I gave that example to illustrate, we're talking about our coherence and cohesion in task, in the band descriptors. Now, vocabularies, our lexical resource. Lexical resource has to do with your vocabularies. It has to do with your sentence formation. Okay, it has to do with the words that you use, your synonyms, your paraphrases, and all of that come under your lexical resource. In primary school, we did what we call lexical structure. I don't know if anybody still remembers. Primary school, secondary school, lexical structure, where you will see I love general subjects. You know that where you have English in it, you have this one, you have many subjects, social studies, business studies, all in one. General something. I can't remember the exact word. General something. Gateway. There is this book that we used in primary and in secondary school. Early secondary school, they call Gateway. There is only maths, English, then general subjects. Now, in general subjects and in English, you will find them write certain like a text, a composition, and then some things will be missing, a comprehension, some things will be missing, summary completion and all of that, and then they will expect you to fill them in. Is that not what we do in reading? These people don't trust us. They are giving us primary school work, yet we are still failing. Is that not what we do in reading? And we say fill in the gap. I say it's a sentence completion, summary completion, and we are finding it difficult. This is something we have been doing for years, for years. But nursing babies, breastfeeding, and they're looking for money has blocked those pathways in our brain in such a way that they need to make us redo them again before we can come in. It's actually the foundation of English, you know. So yes, these are things that you will find. Those things that you put in between, they are the vocabularies that you put in between, the words that you put in between, that you use to connect these things that are missing in such a way that you now come out with a whole, okay, a whole paragraph or a whole sentence that makes sense grammatically. That's what you do. So in your writing as well, in lexical resource, what they mean to talk about are the things that you use, the words that you use, okay, the basket of words, synonyms, paraphrases that you have for you to communicate in such a way that you are always not changing the meaning of what you are being told, but you are saying it in different ways. This brings us down to where again? Being flexible with your brain, avoiding rigidity. That's what will help you with your lexical resource. Now, you need to know that for every type of IELTS Tax 1 question that you are faced with, there are different vocabularies associated, related, okay, to that very question. When you have a graph, a line graph, what kind of words do we have? Or you get on your writing pad. It's time for exercise. Give me 2 words each that you can use to describe a graph. The trends, the words that you can use. If you see somebody's own, don't write the same thing with the person's own. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can actually participate. I'm having a bit of issues with my phone and I can't, like I used to do, go on YouTube and check, but I will try and see if I can do anything to how I can probably do something for us on the YouTube such that we will not be lost. But whatever it is, remember that whatever you write on your YouTube, I'm still able to see it even after the class is ended and I respond. I responded to someone who had done a writing task yesterday from the YouTube class. So don't say that because I'm not on Zoom, they are not responding. In fact, if you let me know that you are from YouTube, it makes you priority. I'm just joking. So yes, the most important thing, or what I'm trying to explain, is that if you're on YouTube, you are free to participate. You can do all of this that we're doing on here, and you may not get a response immediately like the people in the class, but you will definitely get a response. All right, so just do something, exercise, and also engage your brain. Thank you. 2 words each. I'm not seeing them. How many have they written? Okay. Chai. I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. No. Oh yeah, keep sending him more. Please type to everyone, don't type to me. Thank you. Let me see for everybody, then we can continue. If you can say more than 2, go ahead. Keep typing. Type as many as you can. Yes, thank you, Danladi. Type as many as you can. This phone. Okay, this is good. I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. Okay, so this is good. It shows that we do understand. Thank you. If you are still not able to write anything, don't worry. But you know that when you practice, it's better for you. Simiat, can you, when you click on chat, you will see that place that is privately. Just click on me, okay? Click on me, and then you will see other options. You see every other person in the class. On top, right, click on everyone so that your typing can stop coming to just me, because this is a class now. Yeah? Oh God, my YouTube people, I hope I'm able to do something for you. I wish I can. Okay. All right, so we'll continue. I've seen some of your examples. Some are totally out of it for writing task 1. Some are okay for a writing task 1, but it's fine. We'll get used to some of these things along the line. I was talking about a graph. I said a line graph. All right, the words that you can use to describe a line graph. Some of us have gone out of our way to talk about other things, but it's okay, the ones for other things, but it's fine. A line graph, in description of a line graph, we have different words that you use, and these are trends, okay? Things that you say in related to the trends that they are. The trends, or what is happening, is what makes you describe the graph that way, and the words that you use are related, okay? We call them the vocabularies. So when you have a line graph, what you use to describe a line graph is different from what you use. The words, the vocabularies, okay? The synonyms that you use for a line graph, they are different from those that you use for maybe a pie chart, maybe a process graph, for example. So when there's an upward trend, maybe when something is increasing, for a line graph, you use words like rise or a rise. So if you wrote anything related to that, you're correct. Increase or an increase, words like a climb or climb, grow or a growth, okay? Go up, rose up, all right? When when something goes down, there's a downward trend, you can use the opposite of the words that we have used. So you see how it works. Decrease, okay? A decrease can go drop or a drop, decline or a decline, fall or a fall. that those words are okay to describe the trend, the rising and falling trends. When you have maybe when there is a fluctuation, you can say fluctuate. When there is something is unsteady, a growth is unsteady, it could be a fluctuation as well. There could be a dip when something goes down drastically, or there could be a plunge. Okay, we can say there's a plunge, or it remains steady, or it's steadied. All right, it remains stable, or it's stabled over time. You can use words like peak when it gets to the highest, all right, where the highest point or the highest increase is. Or when there is an equalization, you can say it leveled up. Maybe like that example we are using, like maybe in 1 month, maybe in the month of year, the May, sorry, the number of births for both males and females was the same. So it leveled up in the month of May. We can say that. You can use that word level up. You can use words like it hit a high point, okay, for a peak, or the highest point, or when there's a downward trend and it hits the lowest point, okay, the plunge, you can talk about it hitting the lowest point, or it bottomed out, all right, bottom out, or a plateau. Okay, you know what a plateau is? A plateau. Okay, so yes, if you use all these words that are related, because these are now your vocabularies, these are now your lexical resource for writing tax 1 line graph or graph. So you need to use the specific vocabularies, okay, that are related to whatever your question are, for you to score a good band when it comes to your lexical resource. Finally, what we're going to be talking about as part of the band descriptors is the grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy has to do with your English, your grammar, your sentence formation, your choice of words. If, for example, you are speaking and it's not making sense grammatically, then you will score a low band for your grammatical range and accuracy. And when you score low bands for all of these tasks, band descriptors over time, it results in you having an overall low band for that particular task that you're doing. And at the end of the day, you may not score your desired band for you to, cross what is expected of you. So that said about the band descriptors for writing tax 1, we are going to take them one after the other. So today and at this point, we are going to be talking about the line graph. Now, you need to know that there are different types of writing tax 1. Have we established that point? That there are different, it's not every task 1 that is line graph. Have we established that point? Yeah? So now, the different types of task 1 that you can find, it can be a line graph, number 1. If you like, you can write. If you have a magnetic brain, you can leave it. You can have a pie chart, all right? You can have a bar chart. You can have a process graph, okay? You can have a map. You can have a floor map, all right? You can have a floor map, and you can also have, there's one more, there are about 6 or 7 of them. So as we go along, I have them all. When we discuss them, you will get to know if anything is missing, and then we will talk about it. So when we have a line graph, what happens? There are vocabularies that are used to describe a line graph. To get a good band score, you must show it to your examiner that you have a range of different words to show your trends, which are the upward trends, the downward trends, the ones that are stable, or any other one. Okay, we call those ones the any other vocabulary.
Good afternoon, everyone. Really, it's going on.
Good afternoon, everybody. It seems we have been connected. Connected to this call and so earlier on, now that the network is connected, let's keep ourselves with what we think.
Yes, can you hear me? Okay, thank God you can hear me. I don't know
Yes,
what happened. I was logged out of the class. We had to reset everything again for me to log in. I'm sorry about that. I was talking about a line graph, and I was going to the vocabularies that we can use to describe a line graph. We had listed them earlier on when we did that example, and I was still listing them before I went offline. All right. So if you have a line graph, have it in mind that there are certain vocabularies that are related to it. And this relationship is based on the trends. When something is increasing or going up, there are different words, vocabularies to describe it. When it is going down, there are different things to use as well. When it maintains its stand, it does not change, it does not shift either front or backwards or whatever. It has its own words to use as well. And then when there's like an unsteadiness, okay, like fluctuations, those are the things, those are the words that we can use in terms of describing a line graph. Another thing you need to know about describing a line graph is that the variables, okay, that are there, are you going to be describing this as per percentages or just the numbers? You need to know if it is about numbers or percentages. Okay, this is a report, and so you can choose, because this writing task 1 requires you to use either past or present tense, and then you will be using comparison vocabularies to describe the differences and the similarities that are in what you have found or what you are seeing. So you need to improve on the use of your comparatives and superlatives. Do we remember when we say good, better, best, and all of the bad, worst, and worst? So your comparatives and your superlatives, you need to increase or improve on the use of them. You need to use the correct language when you are describing anything at all. So when you understand that this thing is about percentages, use them. When you know it is about numbers, you need to use them. You need to have a proper understanding of the question prompt that you are faced with. If not, you're going to be writing as per off point. So what do we do when you are faced with a writing task 1 and it has to do with what is it called? Line graph. What do? You have to plan your work. Okay, you have to plan your work. You underline the keywords that are there. It is those keywords that you are going to be looking for their synonyms. Underline the keywords, the key vocabularies in the question, then you write them the same way, okay, using different words. Check whether the data, I've said it, is about percentages. I'm saying it again because it is very, very, very important. You need to brainstorm on key points to answer your question. What are these key points? 1, highest and lowest, striking numbers. If there are numbers that are striking numbers or percentages, highest and lowest. You need to check your comparisons, that is higher and lower datas, if they are the same for this or not the same for it. That's those that are similar. You need to check for datas that can be combined together for description as well. Now, we are going to move to another step of identifying the highlights of these tasks. Okay, so any word that you have, you need to identify at least between 8 to 10 highlights, so that when you separate them into 4 to 5, you can have enough words to join these things and make your paragraphs correctly. You work out your overall summary. How do you work out your overall summary? By having a general look at what the question before you is. Okay, in your overall summary, take note of 1 or 2 key points that must be mentioned. Like the overall summary I gave us for that example, I did mention how that there were fluctuations, okay? How that at the end of the day, the girls still maintained the fact that, more girls were born than more boys. Or if I had started, I had said, if I changed it the other way around, and I changed the data and said what more boys were born at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year. So you need to take note of at least 2 points that must come in your overall statement. It looks like a summary. I was explaining at the beginning that writing task 1 in your overall statement, it looks like you are giving a summary before you write. Unlike task 2, we say you should conclude at the end of your work. But in task 1, it's that you are like giving a summary, but you're not going to say summarily. You're not going to say it is a summary, it's just an overall statement. But the content of the overall summary is the overall statement is the general summary of your question prompt before you. So you plan the structure of the work, okay, how your data can be grouped, what am I going to write about in my overview in paragraph 1, and what should go into paragraph 2 as well. Go ahead and write your task, and whatever the case may be, make sure that you have time, at least 1-2 minutes, to proofread your task. If you don't proofread your task, you may lose marks for simple spellings. You may lose marks for dotting of your I's and crossing of your T's. You may lose marks for where you were supposed to put a full stop and then there was none, or a place that was supposed to have a continuation mark and you didn't have anything there. So you need to proofread your work. That's one benefit of proofreading your work. Okay? In writing task 1, generally, we have 2 types of tasks. They say the task is either a simple task or a double task or a complex one. Simple is when you have 1 graph or 1 diagram or 1 map. Double, you can have 2 maps and they're asking you the changes that has occurred over time from map A to map B, or they're expecting that after a development, map A happened to become map B. So what are your significant differences, the significant differences that you can identify, or the striking things that you can take note of? They may be asking you that kind of a question, which means that you can have either question to be simple or static. That is, it's not just about graphs that can be simple or static. Pie charts can be simple or static. Bar charts can be simple or static. And also maps can be simple or static. Any kind of diagram you get, it can be simple or static, even a floor map. They may give you 2 floor maps and say, this is floor map A. This was the way the floor of the general, maybe the theaters in University of Abuja Teaching Hospital looked as at 1998, and this is the way it is now in 2018. So you can have either way. Whatever it is, what you are going to be reporting are still the main features, and then you give a summary of whatever is happening. And your summary is coming in from the beginning, which is an overall statement. So what do we do when we have a double map, when we have a double line graph? You can choose to discuss one. For me, I choose to discuss 1 map first, and then I go to the second map or second graph. At other times, I choose all the variables, okay, in both of them, all right, and take note of what I want to come in my first paragraph. I want to appear in my second paragraph. It's all up to you, and there are different options so that whichever one comes to your mind first, or it's easier for you, you will not be losing marks at the end of the day. So today we have done this task several times in my class, and we are still going to do it again today. Let me see. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. This is just a simple bar graph. It's a line graph. It's a bar chart. So you are going to be doing this. Let me see. Share screen. What? Oh, I'm just noticing that. Thank you. I didn't know my video was off because I was just talking. All right, so I'm sharing my screen now. Where is it? This is it. Based on what Linda, you're laughing, Abby. Based on what, can you all see my graph on my screen? Who cannot see my screen? Everyone can see my screen. That's perfect. So now you have, this is a simple task. It's just one diagram, it's not two. And it's very simple in the sense that we have just two variables here. We have the Australian and the New Zealanders. This is it. All right. And then this task is about what now? It's about percentages. Can you see that? The task is about percentages. You need to note that. And then also we have various tasks here. We have various variables here. We have art and crafts. We have bookstore. We have books. We have computer games. We have DVDs, going to the park, and sports. There are 6 activities here. The graph below shows information about the activities that Australian and New Zealand children enjoyed doing the most in 2007. Your assignment is to summarize the information. And how do you summarize? You select and report the main features and then make comparisons where relevant. Select and report the main features and make comparisons where relevant. That is your task. That is your assignment. Now, you are not going to say, okay, one paragraph is for me to select, then the other paragraph is for me to report. No, you are selecting and reporting at the same time. While doing it, you are comparing as well, because you're going to be talking about, you see, this is about comparison, because we have one thing but different scores for 2 people. Do you understand? There are some graphs that you may have one thing with different scores. Okay, one thing, just one variable. All of it is 1. They are not 2. But here you are going to be comparing because they are 2. So you need to know the kind of questions that you will be asked to compare. It is when you have different variables under one item that you may be asked, you are mostly going to be asked to compare. So you need to read your questions, okay, with clarity before you start to answer. This morning, this afternoon, going by what I have explained about writing task 1 to you so far, the fact that I want the structure to be just 3 paragraphs. 1 paragraph is your question prompt paraphrase with your overall statement. The next paragraph is called the overview. And this overview, you will give me 2 paragraphs in the overview, making the total of your paragraphs 3 for a writing task 1. So you are going to be writing this afternoon for me, first an overall statement, and then you will write the overview. In your overview, I want you to take note of what we have discussed. What did we discuss? We talked about you identifying a start point. We've talked about you grouping your data, bringing what and what I'm going to be reporting about to 1. Under what? Okay? Let me give you an idea into this because it's always been difficult. Grouping these things now, I want you to answer this question based on 2 groups. The fact that there are activities here that are outdoor and activities that are indoor. Arts and crafts, it can be indoor, it can be outdoor. Books is indoor. Computer games is indoor. DVDs are indoor. Going to the park and sports are both outdoor activities. All right. So I want you now, for the sake of this writing, to group art and craft as outdoor, going to the park as outdoor, sports as outdoor activity. Even though arts and crafts can be both indoor and outdoor. All right? Do we understand? So, take note of these two things that I have noted. Group into two, indoor, outdoor. So now you are going to be comparing. I'm giving you an idea into your comparison. I'm giving you an idea into your comparison. Let me not confuse you. Take going to the park and sports as outdoor. Art and craft is both indoor and outdoor. Books and computer games and DVDs, they are indoor activities. Look for who has the highest scores in what? Look for who has the lowest scores in what? Look for where both parties had the same scores. Where? What? While you are describing where and what, note the percentage of all of them. Do you understand? Have you taken a screenshot or you still want me to leave this here? Take a screenshot of this. So that you can go back to it. Have you taken a screenshot? All right. I can't hear. Samuel, you can't hear? Yes, you can't hear because you need to log out and log in again. Oh dear. You need to log out and log in again. Remember to click blue box. Oh dear. I hope it works for you. Oh dear, I've sent it to the wrong person. Let's see. Okay, I'm waiting for your writing. Okay, grab grid, apply, notation. Sorry, Gloria Mechi, we do not have an OET group. We just have an IELTS group for now, all right? I'm just trying to answer those on the YouTube page. I have been able to come in, but let's see. I don't know. Can you all hear me on the YouTube page now? Can you hear me if you're on the YouTube channel? If you can hear me, just signify, because I'm seeing someone typing, I can't hear. Please, I need the question. I didn't screenshot for all. You see, I'm a very patient person, but sometimes it's better for us to like adhere, do what we are told at the right time. Goes a long way to help us and make our lives better. I'm sharing it again, please, so that you can take that screenshot that you missed. I'm just going to leave it on the page for now because of those that are on the YouTube. They are saying they can't get, someone can't get a screenshot. So you can have a look now, check, you will find it. Just that with this, I can't do some other things that I would have done. I can't check comments on YouTube now if I'm sharing my screen. Olawale, do you have any question or what? I've been seeing you talking. Are you talking to someone by your side?
Yeah. Yeah, fine.
Who?
Yeah, who's joking?
Who?
Lady.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, at 7.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. All right. All right. I'll start. Say hello to your mother. Isaac as well.
My class is on, please. Mm. All right, get ready to stop. You have 2 minutes. 2 more minutes. I thought I said we should write everything. And that's the reason why I explained how you should go about it. Because I'm sharing my screen with you people, I can't see all of your conversations on the side anymore. That's the reason why I was just trying to say take a screenshot so that I can concentrate on the other things. I'm just seeing your question, Olarinwaju. You are to write everything. I did explain that you write an overall statement, you write me the overview as well. And I explained what and what is expected, didn't I? Unfortunately, I did not see any write-up. Danladi, where is your work? Linda. Madam Bello, where is your work?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Chinwe, where is your work?
I was logged out. Network logged me out. I'm just entering back. I'm still writing.
Okay. If you know your background is calm, unmute yourself. If your background is calm, unmute yourself. We are going to have an interaction now about that question. And I'm going to go off this Zoom to open the question and all of that so that we can interact. So please let your background be calm so that we will not disturb everybody. Please. Okay. The graph below shows information. The graph below shows information about the activities that Australian and New Zealand children enjoyed doing the most in 2007. Can we identify the keywords here together? Can we identify the keywords here together, please?
Yes. Activities.
Okay, write it down. What other words can we use for activities? Chiamaka, what other word can we use for activities?
Perform.
Please, who will give me other words to use for activities?
Oh, shoot.
Events.
Okay, another one.
Performance.
Mm-hmm.
Who said performance? You are going to use it to paraphrase this sentence. Let me see how you use it. So start thinking of how to paraphrase this sentence. Identify other keywords that are here. The graph, information, activities, children enjoy doing the most. What you enjoy doing the most, what is it called?
Life.
Sorry?
Hobby.
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 So in other words, the given graph is a data or gives a data about the hobbies of kids or young ones or youngsters, okay, in Australia and New Zealand in the year 2007. That's a way to paraphrase. Another way to paraphrase, you can say the diagram, the given diagram, okay, is, what word do I use for an information again instead of data? What word can I use for information instead of data? The given diagram illustrates the hobbies, the activities. Wow, you said performance. You see that you can't use that word performance, even though it is used for activities. I just wanted to prove a point to you. Yeah? The events, all right? The hobbies of children in Australia, or Australian children, or Australians and New Zealanders in 2007 or over 1 year. It illustrates the information of the hobbies of children in Australia and New Zealand over 1 year. It is in 2007, so it is in 1 year. Now they've asked us to summarize the information. So before then, what will be our overall statement? I did tell us, because I wanted to help us with the overall statement, I went ahead to say they were outdoors and indoors. And I expected you to just tell me that maybe overall, all right, children or kids or the young ones or youngsters in Australia enjoyed or participated more in indoor events more than the New Zealand, the Australians. Or you can say, while the Australians are more involved or were more involved in outdoor. One of them is indoor, the other is outdoor. New Zealanders are outdoor. If you see, where they scored their highest percentages were in the indoor activities, DVDs, computer games, and in the books. They scored highest. I mean, they scored higher than the New Zealanders. If you check again, the New Zealanders had highest marks for sports and going to the parks, which were all outdoor activities.
It's Australian that score higher.
What are you saying? Australians are the ones in blue. They scored higher in going to the park and in sports, which is the outdoor activity. While the New Zealanders were more interested in indoor activities. So what are you saying?
It's the same thing.
Okay, ma. So if you say that kind of overall, you have completed your introduction, which is your problem statement paraphrased and the overall statement put together. It's called an overall statement or an introduction at the end. You see that you are summarizing the whole of this thing, what you can observe on a single look at this map or at this diagram, at this graph from the beginning. It looks like you're giving a summary of this thing from the beginning of your write-up. That is how the overall statement works. The overall statement, it means it's the general thing you can see. It's all in all in this graph or in this bar chart. What I can see is that children from Australians were more interested in outdoor activities, while children from New Zealand participated more in the indoor activity, as shown by their percentages. Simiat, I read your introduction, but it is not complete. I gave you an overall statement. The overall statement has to come after you have paraphrased this, your question prompt. You did not paraphrase your specific question, your question prompt. What you did for me was to tell me the overall statement twice in using different words. So more like you are paraphrasing the overall statement twice, which is not supposed to be. I told us that for you to have a good introduction, it is made up of your question prompt paraphrased using synonyms of the keywords and the overall statement, which is what you can see and conclude from merely looking at the diagram, which is more like a summary of the diagram at a glance.
A glance at it.
Now, when you want to write about your overview, which is the general thing now where you are going to be selecting and reporting the main features and making comparisons between these two countries, you are going to choose, I gave us an idea, highest occurring, lowest occurring, all right, the ones that did not change, the ones that changed slightly and things like that. That's what you're going to be explaining.
Over.
And then I gave us synonyms to explain these things with. You need the words to explain this. You need specific words to explain this, which are decrease, increase, all right, stable, changed or did not change. Those are the things that you are expected to make use of. Going by that, now tell me, how do we group our data in such a way that we have two paragraphs from this that we have written? Yes, go ahead, Chinwe.
Ma?
Chinwe, what information are you going to be having in your first and second paragraphs? Yeah, body paragraph.
First paragraph, I'll talk about the Australian children, what they enjoy doing the most, and the percentage. Then my second paragraph, I will discuss about the New Zealanders, what they enjoy the most, and the percentage.
Okay. Then what will you have in the second?
The second, I've said that the second is where I will discuss the New Zealanders, the activities they enjoy the most, and the percentage.
Okay. That's your idea, yeah? So in one paragraph, you talk about the Australian children, in another, you talk about the New Zealanders.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So what and what are you going to be picking for the Australian children, and what will you be talking about for the New Zealand children?
The Australian children, from the chart, I noticed that they enjoy, just like you said earlier, they enjoy outdoor activities with sports activities being the highest with about 28%, followed by going to the park with about 25%. Then I will compare it with the New Zealanders in my second paragraph. I enjoyed indoor activities more with the highest. The highest is arts and crafts with about 25%, followed by books with about 18%.
Okay, well done. Then for the other one, is there anything you were supposed to have mentioned you have not mentioned here?
Then when it comes to DVDs, the New Zealanders enjoy DVDs more than the Australians with about 18%. When you compare with the Australians that had 15%.
Okay, do you see any similarities in their numbers here?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't even
Computer
catch what
games,
this guy said.
computer games, they had the same percentage in computer games, 15%.
Okay. Did you notice also that the New Zealanders had the same percentage for books and DVDs?
Okay, I'm just
And
noticing.
they had the same percentage for going to the park and for sports as well.
Okay, yes, I just
Did you
noticed.
notice that?
I just did now.
Good. And then did you notice also that the Australian kids had the same percentage for games and DVDs?
Okay, I'm just noticing that now.
Games and DVDs, the Australians
Australians,
are all on
15%.
15% each, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Then computer games and DVDs, they are related, which means they do not really have much interest, Abby, or their interests for computer games and DVDs are the same.
Almost the same, yes, ma'am.
It is the same for computer and DVD.
Okay,
Their interest
for
is the same.
Australians,
They are both
yes,
on
ma'am.
15%.
15%, yes.
So you need to take note of this trend where these Australians had the same. All right. Take note of a trend where the New Zealanders had the same, and take note of a trend where both New Zealanders and Australians had the same.
Okay,
Can you see? Look at this as
yes,
well. Where
ma'am.
my arrow is also, Australians had,
Oh,
New Zealanders had the same. Then we took note of the highest on this whole thing. The Australian kids had the highest score for sports, which is about 27%.
okay.
While the highest for the New Zealanders is on 25% for arts and crafts.
Well,
Okay, which means that what? They are more interested in indoor activities. These people here are more
then
interested in outdoor activities as shown by their highest scores.
call the owner and give.
All right, do you understand now? Does anybody understand what I'm trying to explain here? So after you have gotten an overall statement, an introduction, then you go ahead to note this highest occurring, lowest occurring. So for them, for the New Zealanders, if we want to talk about the New Zealanders now, we say the New Zealanders, as we have explained, that they are more interested in indoor activities. The highest of their scores or percentages is on 25% for arts and score and crafts, while their lowest is in sports and in going to the park, both on just a little, maybe about 12% each. One other thing I want you to notice that if these things are not labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, since they are in between 10 and 15, you can just use your discretion and say what percentage it is. But you don't have to be too sure about it and say it is 10% or 14%. Just say about. Just a little above, okay, above 10, which is about maybe 12 or 13. But this is not up to 13 to me, because when you divide this bar into two, the smaller part is still down. So I can say it's about 12%. Do you understand? Now, when I write that for the New Zealanders, I can also go down, going by their highest, their second highest as well, which is in books. They had the same number or the same score, the same percentage for books and for DVD. You take note of that. And in computer games, they have the same interest with the Australians. Both of them are on 15% each. So you can see the similarities between the two of them. Then similar scores or percentages within the same people. There are two of them here. We have the one for going to the park and sports, and then for books and for DVD. They are the same. These are 3 points now. Then they have a highest which is the 4th point. Then we have their lowest, which is the 5th point. By the time you put words in between these 5 points, you are able to have a good sentence for the New Zealanders. For the Australian kids as well, you pick their highest, which is 1. You pick their lowest, which is 1. You pick where they have similarity with the New Zealanders, which is 3. Then you pick where they have the same similarity between themselves, which is 4. And probably you will pick the next one to them where they still have the same score with the New Zealanders. Both of them are on 25%. For going to the park and for art and craft, both of them are on 25%. So overall, you have 5 points each to discuss or to put words in between for the New Zealanders and the Australians. At the end of the day, you can have your 2 paragraphs conveniently without issues, and you should not have less than 150 words from this. Is anyone confused? Is anyone confused after this explanation? Any question? Please, it is not from the overview. It is overall. Don't make any mistake. Overview is a word different from overall. Don't bring overview to overall. The overview is the entire write-up where your points are. That is your paragraphs 1 and 2. Your overall statement is different, and that is in your paragraph 1. Don't make that mistake, please. Calm down and use the words that you are giving. Don't go and look for big words to use and at the end put yourself in trouble, please. All right? Just take that correction, okay? So it's overall. You can't say from the overview because you have not done an overview yet and you're writing an introduction. So you've not done an overview, you can't say from the overview, and you can't pick something from the bottom to talk about. If not, you will score a low mark for your coherence and cohesion. It means that there's no flow between your work.
I have a question, ma.
Yes, ma, go ahead.
I just want to be sure I'm in line with what is going on. According to what I jotted down, general statement comes first, followed by overall statement. Then the last is the overview.
And the overview is 2 paragraphs.
2 paragraphs.
Yes, your general statement and your overall statement are together. All of you that sent me, most of you that sent me your writing task 1 to mark, I've responded. Not to all. I think I have about 3 or 4 more to go. And I should do that probably by next week. I'm also working, so you don't expect me to answer you immediately. You sent in work last night and you are sending me a message privately today that I should please to answer you. It's not possible. I mean, if I'm on it and it comes in and I answer it, I mean, quickly, that's fine. But you can't compel someone who you know. It's not like I'm full-time into IELTS teaching. I'm also doing some other work. I'm working as well. So please bear with me. When you come into my private space, just to remind me about your work, there's a way it makes me feel. I really don't like it, but I don't take it to heart too much. So please just be patient. If we have a class twice in a week, I think it's a good enough place for us to like send reminders or say, oh, sorry, you've not done my work. I'm still waiting for. I'm okay with that. Not to come to my personal space to be reminding me about work. You don't even know the mood that I'm in when I will see that message. Maybe I'm battling with a patient, or maybe I'm not very happy, or maybe anything, and I will end up, getting angry the more or something. Please, we're all humans, isn't it? And we love our personal space. I love my personal space very well. That's why you have all the avenues for us to contact and speak with each other. Please, as much as possible, avoid coming into my inbox to remind me about your work, please. Yes, so Chinwe, that's a good way to write it. If you write me an overview, let it be 2 paragraphs. Your overview is the general work that you're doing. your overall statement and your general statement makes up your introduction. That is the first paragraph. Please don't make it write an introduction in such a way that you write your your question paraphrased and then you put full stop and start another paragraph and say overall. You will get it wrong.
Okay.
That will make the structure already 4 paragraphs, and that is not the structure for the writing task 1. The structure for the writing task 1 is 3 paragraphs, while for task 2 is 4 paragraphs. All right? That's it. Any other question? Any other question? If there's no other question, let me get an assignment for you that has to do with a bar chart. Let me find one. Bar graph. Oh, let me give you a line graph. Line graph. So just give me a few seconds to get this question. Now I'm going to give you a line graph that contains 3 variables. Should I give that one or another one? No. Bar graph.
Ma, please, I have a question.
Go ahead with your question.
I don't know how to start the paragraph in the overview.
I'll
How to
just
chip
explain
in
the
the...
lesson. If you can please go back and watch the lesson again, that would really be lovely. It will go a long way to help me and you. All right? Just go back after this class is over.
Okay.
Go back and write and listen to it again. Okay? Go back and listen to it. All right. So this, I'm going to give
Good
you...
afternoon.
Go ahead with your question, please. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Do you mean overall should not be in another paragraph?
That's what I
Should.
just said. That's it. It's not correct for your overall to be in a different paragraph from your question prompt paraphrase. Put a full stop and then continue on the same line.
Continue.
Yes, so that you can have 3 paragraphs, okay, at the end of the day. Because if you put your overall in a different paragraphs, your first your problem statement paraphrased in a different paragraph, overall in a different paragraph, then overview, you have 2 paragraphs. At the end, you'll be having how many paragraphs? That will be 4. And that's the structure for the writing task 2 and not writing task 1. All right?
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm looking for a particular example for what we just did, so that you won't say maybe you practiced something that is easier and I'm giving you something that is very tough. So I have to get the exact same kind of question but different variables. Then you can write and I will access if you understood what we have done in this class or not. That way we know where to start from if you don't understand. I hope we will understand. So yes, the class is almost coming to an end, and this evening we have spent time talking about writing task 1. Okay, we discussed about the band descriptors. all of them together, just like we have been doing in other writing tasks. We talked about band descriptors and the things that are expected in your band descriptors for writing task 1. We discussed each and every one of them and what you are expected to know about it. If you do not have an understanding of it, just kindly go through this video again. All right, it will continue to be there. Then you can understand better, hopefully, when you have gone through it. We did a classwork on bar graph, and that is what we are going to have as our assignment. I'm sending this to the house so you can have a screenshot. Okay, bar graph, correct. So I'm sending it so we can all have a screenshot, and I'm sending it also to the Telegram group. Okay, I think it's better on the Telegram group, isn't it? Is it not better on the Telegram group?
And both, ma. Here and Telegram.
Because I can't send it to all of you at once. That's the problem. If I open it, you can screenshot. If I share my screen with you, you can increase it.
Please send it to the Telegram group.
Let's see, how many people want me to send it to the Telegram group?
Ma, send here, let's screenshot first, then Telegram group.
It's here. Oh dear, this is it. Can you see it? Can you all see it?
You can't see the question prompt.
Yeah, this is the question prompt. Divorce rates in Finland and in Sweden. Write not less than 150 words. So describe it. The given diagram is the data or is giving an information or illustrates the rate of divorce in Finland and in Sweden over a period of 4 years from the year 2000. I'm already answering this question. From the year 2011 to the year 2015. Overall, there were more divorce rates in where? And less in where? Over the years. Do you people understand what I'm doing? So if I'm giving you a heading, I'm giving who does not understand? If it's one of the people that are just joining us, if you are just joining us, you have not started this particular class from the beginning and you don't understand, I won't say anything. I will say the only thing I'm going to tell you is that you should please go back to the beginning of the class and watch it. Then go to the YouTube channel and watch Writing Task 1. You may come across something that will help you understand better, because I'm not going to start this class all over again. We've run out of time and you were not in class. If you were here and you heard the explanation, you probably would have understood. Yes, go ahead. What did you say?
Can you please zoom the question? Enlarge it, I mean. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, it's better now, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So this is divorce rates in Finland and Sweden from 2011 to 2015. You should learn to do this yourself. Now there's no statement. Nobody is saying anything about it. Just gave you divorce rates in Sweden. You can see something like this similar in your exam. So are you going to say separation rates in Finland or percentage of separation? And you just, no, you put all the other words around it, isn't it? In your paraphrasing, in your problem statement, in your introduction, you put all the other words around it, including the years. Okay, it started from 2011 until 2015. This is a period of 5 years. Really, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A period of 5 years. So what is your overall statement? I can see that some is red. The red ones are higher. They are all high up. Started higher in 2015, but ended lower in 2011, ended lower in 2015. Why the blue started lower? It was lower in 2011. Now it is higher, though not the highest.
2012.
Good. When was it highest? In what year was it highest for Finland?
2015.
2014 and 2015. These are two similar scores. They are the same scores here. Can you see? And it was lowest for them in 2012. While for Finland, it was highest for them in 2012 and lowest for them in 2015. This is a similarity. All right. None of them have the same number all through. They all have the varied number for themselves, but Finland had the same in 2 different years. They had the same, they maintained the same rate in 2 different years. While for that of Sweden, there were fluctuations over the years. So it was stable for Finland in 2014 and 2015, all on just a little above 40%, while it fluctuated throughout the years. For which year? For which people? For Sweden. I'm already doing this whole write-up. I'm doing the overview already. So if you come and tell me you don't have an idea of this after I have done this one, then it means you're not serious. Really, let's tell ourselves the truth. Any other question, please? If there's no other question, henceforth, if we have a work and you don't do it within 48 hours, for me to be able to review it before the next class, please don't bother doing it. So if you have this work with you, I expect this work from now until Monday, 4 p.m. If after Monday, 4 p.m., you've not done this particular one, please don't bother to do it because I won't go through it. So if on my email, your work does not land, it is not sent, and I don't get it from now until Monday, 4 p.m., then don't bother sending it. And if you do, I'm not going to vet it. For this work, when you have written your mail, you are writing it as an email. Now go to your mail you want to write. For instance, you have finished writing in your book where you are going to now type to me. When you click the email and to overseernurses@gmail.com, from you, there's what they call a title or subject. Please write writing task 1 bar chart assignment. Writing task 1 bar chart assignment is the subject. It makes it easy for me to identify what even before I open it. Okay, then go ahead and type your work. Don't go to your Microsoft Word and type it and change it to PDF and send it to me. I won't even open it. Because when you send it that way, it means I'll have to open it, save it on my own system. Before, for God's sake, how many work am I going to save on my system? And the worst thing is I will now be having different names that I don't even know everybody. Be fair. Let's treat ourselves fairly. If it's your email, good and fine. So send it as a mail. Type it. Type the work as a mail. Then go to the top of your icons on your phone or on your whatever. Click on insert. Then go and insert this picture, this photo. Okay? Insert the photo and do the typing. Then send it to me. I finished teaching you computer. You're not paying me for teaching you computer. So why are you laughing, Olawale? You are shaking your head. Is it not true? You people, you will do these things and be tired. When you get to this country, you find out that ordinary to ask your manager for permission to go and buy or do something. You are sitting with her on duty, or she'll tell you to go and send a mail then you will know. Something you easily discuss in Nigeria. Shebi, you're in charge, you want to take permission. Excuse me, ma, please, ma, can you just change my shift, or can I swap my shift with Mary, so that Mary will do morning, I will do evening? Abi, in Nigeria, we discuss, we say. Here you will send a mail, and God bless you, sometimes your mail, they don't get to open itself before that day that you are looking for permission. So you're on your own. They respond on time. Actually, I'm just joking. They do respond, but it's not always 100%. Sometimes they can have a pile, like my manager will tell you she has a pile and there's nothing you can do. She has to, is it not one by one before you get to 2 or 3? So yes, you need to get used to this, using these things first before you even cross that thing, before you enter Murtala Mohammed Airport, so that by the time you are in the air, as you are flying and coming, you are dropping many things behind. You are dropping them behind. Let's just upgrade. The world has gone global, and if we must be global citizens, we need to act like they are acting, so that we can measure up and be up to date. All right. So yes, some of you here have already passed IELTS. Some of the people in the class, I saw some results over this weekend. I think before this weekend, Thursday, Friday, some results were released, and it's a good thing that at least some are passing. Although I have one result that I'm not so happy with. She has to apply for a remark for speaking after all the effort. She had high marks, 8.5 or something. I can't really remember what I saw. In listening, in reading, but speaking, 6.5. You need to improve. You can see that little thing like this, just 1.5 mark can reduce your mark. So please, take it seriously. These things we are doing, it's no joke. I mean, you people, the thing is not doing me. It's not doing you the way it's doing me. I can't just imagine carrying 75,000 naira you pay for exam. The money that is not even there. You pay for the exam, then you are paying another one again. I don't understand. I used to feel for people, because I know the value of money and I know what it takes us to make this money, considering the fact that the salaries we are getting is meager, and then not even everybody is working. So at the end, having to pay double for this exam, the thing is pinching me somehow. But it looks like the thing is not bothering some of you people. You have the money to throw around. Why not just dash me so that I can give to people that I want to give to? Is it not better than dashing British Council 4 times, 5 times? Yeah. So please study very well so that you can pass your exams once and for all. I feel really elated and happy and excited each time I hear that people wrote their exams and they are sending me pictures on WhatsApp. I don't mind though, if you come to my WhatsApp to send result, I don't mind my personal space in that one. It's vetting. I don't want to vet on my personal space, but not results, because that one I can dance and I'm happy. And then your process can start after that. And from the time you pass your IELTS, at least or at most, maybe 6 months, you will already be in the UK. The processes are faster now, especially with the verification from NMC Nigeria that is no longer posting of paper like our time. God, we thank God the NMC has also embraced some changes, and we are praying for more changes so that many things can really happen. So yes, practice, do this work, submit it latest by 3:59.59 seconds on Monday. If not, I will not go through it. While you are doing it, follow the right pattern. Let there be a subject for it, and the subject is writing task 1 bar chart assignment. All right, please don't share a document with me. The only thing I want to see as a picture there is the photo, the picture, the diagram that's attached to this work. Thank you very much. In the absence of any other question, it is bye-bye from me. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and see you on Tuesday.
Sorry. Hello, sorry, ma. Hello, ma. Hello, sorry, ma,
Yes.
please. But I've never done any work and submit before. I want to try this one, maybe as my first work. How will we do it? Should we type or we should write it, or how? Like, is
Olawale,
it
don't worry.
possible
Olawale,
to?
don't worry.
Is it possible to maybe write it out, or and your email address now we don't have it. Like
Are you
today.
on the Telegram group?
Yes, ma.
Is this your first time in this class?
In your class, I think it's like my second time because I've been with Mr. Stephen before now.
Okay. So the email address to send the work to is overseernurses@gmail.com. Have you taken that down?
Yes, ma.
Good. We all have different levels of comprehension, and that's where
Yes,
a
ma.
teacher needs to be patient. I had to take a course with the Cambridge University, and I did the course online. I paid for that course. I think I paid £179. I did it on Future Learn. And at the end of, in the course of the teaching, it's a 4 weeks course, but I did it in 5 days because I had some days off. We are Nigerians, we do crash programs. Don't worry. That's why when Nigerians go outside Nigeria, they make waves because we have been taught under duress. In this country, my children go to school and they come back, they tell me they are tired. And I look at them and I ask, what are you tired with? What did you do? They go to school in a bus. They learn in school, they eat in school. You pay for your children to either thumbprint or use their card, and they eat in school. So you can't say you were hungry while you were in school. All right? Nobody flogs them that they are saying they are tired. No teacher flogged them. In fact, no teacher even screamed at them. Instead, they will ask you, are you all right? Are you okay? If you are not okay, they will answer, they will go back again, and nobody is looking at them with bad eye. Not like in Nigeria where you ask a question, a teacher will knock you. Then you are telling me that you are tired. So I asked, what are you tired with? What exactly did you do that you are tired? And they'll tell you they have been learning. So to them, learning is work. To us, learning is not work. Learning is sweet. So we love to crash things. So that's just my story. We love to crash things. And in the course of doing that course, the course is spread, okay, over 4 weeks. But you have access to it at your time. You can sit down from morning to evening and you finish a 2-3 weeks course, morning till evening, because it's expected that it will be maybe 2 hours a day. Okay? And you are able to study more than 2 hours a day if you want. Now, while I was doing it, there was a place for evaluation. I've not really taught in a school in Nigeria. I just, maybe when I was looking for a job before nursing, taught in a private nursery school and all of that. So in the course of that evaluation, I discovered that even adults, even trained professionals, we still have different levels of understanding. To some, you have to explain one thing over and over again before their brain will catch it. It's just an example. This class, a couple of minutes ago, I just explained that you should type the work and not share a document with me. But obviously, probably maybe network or some distractions will make us not to understand. So for the sake of Geraldine that is asking again, I am telling us now, please, if you are watching this video on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Please, the work is on there, you will see it, and I'm going to send it to the Telegram group as well. Take a screen grab, okay? Attach it to your work. Please type the work, not sharing a document with me, because I won't open the document. I don't have enough space for me to open. So yes, type the work as a mail. The subject of the mail is writing tax 1 bar chart assignment. Writing tax 1 bar chart assignment. Please send a mail if you want me to vet the work. It's not compulsory, really it's not. If you want me to vet the work, send it in before 4 o'clock Nigerian time on Monday. If it's not in at 3:59 seconds, I will not vet it. It's a promise. Because somebody cannot just send me work this morning and you are coming to ask me this afternoon whether I have seen your work to vet. Meanwhile, it's not IELTS that I'm teaching full time and I don't do any other thing. Let's help ourselves. We're just trying to make life easy for ourselves, isn't it? I know many places that they are paying for this lesson, but we are trying to see how we can give back and help things get better for everybody. I paid to learn IELTS. I paid for the certificate today. I paid to be taught IELTS to write. When I was in Nigeria, I paid a tutor to come from Nasarawa to Kuje to come and teach me because I was working and I could not travel. I paid her to come with her kids and she came. We had an agreement to teach me for 1 week and she taught me for 2 days because her son took ill and she had to go back. I didn't get my money back and I didn't get my lesson back. But I did not fail because of that. I was determined to practice. I've heard a testimony of somebody who did not even have materials to practice with. She just listened to people online and that was it. She was able to pass. Please, be serious. I know many of us are desiring. If I tell you even close people that have been desiring to write IELTS and have been going, we've made effort for them to write and pass, but they have not attempted. Many people will come to this class and come and just listen and go away. At the end, they don't have the courage to write. Either because we don't have the money or because we are not determined enough. If you are determined to do anything, you will do it. You will save for it. I've told us my stories. If you've been watching these videos, you will hear my story several times, how I was able to raise money for IELTS, how I took risk with kids that I had to use all my salary. I did IELTS UKVI in December 2018, and I paid 95,000 for the registration online. And I had to go to British Council to submit papers. And I did this registration after I was paid my November salary. I paid less than 2 weeks to my exams. I was paid my November salary, which was just a little above 100,000. And I used 95,000. I had 3 kids who were in school, in secondary school, all in secondary school. We had to eat. I was left with 7,000 in my account after I had paid for IELTS, about 7,000, which I could not withdraw all. You know how Nigerian system is. Some banks is either 2,000 or 5,000 that you have to leave. I did it. You can do it if you want to do it. If you are talking about the money, I studied with having to care for children who needed assignment. I had a son that was in assignment and he won't do his work if you don't monitor him. I studied in the middle of work. My in charge refused to give me days off even after I have asked. The day of my IELTS, I had to arrange anyhow just to go and write the IELTS exam and came back for afternoon shift. But I passed. I had lectures I paid for. The woman came from Nasarawa. I begged my in charge to give me those days off. She refused. Okay, place me on night so that I can have those days off. She agreed, only for her to change the rota. and I will go for lesson and come back to work. See, if you are determined, there are more than enough people around you to help you if you want to. So if you are not determined, don't do your assignment. Be thinking about the time you will use and write. I'm doing other courses here and I'm working full time. So if you like, say it's not easy. It's not easy anywhere. I hope you know it's not easy anywhere. But the little one that we have, the little space that we have, we can make life a bit easier for ourselves by planning. Stop living your life by chance. Decide on what to do. You are talking about nursing children, how they will not allow you to read. Who told you? I had a student who passed IELTS with almost a 9-month pregnancy. She passed IELTS about 2-3 weeks ago. Heavily pregnant, still practicing. She won't miss the class. She won't miss her assignment. I had a mother who was nursing like a 2 months old baby and still studied and passed IELTS. It's like it's those people with unusual circumstances that are more serious than most of us. They are more serious than us. Please, let's be serious. Don't think you know it all. Even me, I don't. What? You'll be surprised that my IELTS tutor wrote IELTS again after I wrote. She passed before 8 point something band. Then because of children, she could not travel. When she was ready to process, she had to write again. The time she wrote, she got a 6.5. Somebody that got 8.5 before. The person that taught me IELTS wrote again after I wrote and she failed. She has not come back from the shock of that writing that she is teaching people IELTS and she can't pass. So she has not written again. Please gather ideas from here and there and do this exam once and for all. Be determined to study, to learn. Unlearn what you know before. If there's any rigid thing in your brain, I keep talking about rigidity because that rigidity is what is making us not to move forward. Maybe you have listened to somebody that has said something before and it's different from what you're hearing now. Listen to what we are saying now. Go online yourself, listen to other people, do your assignment, right? The people marking these exams, they are human beings. Please, be serious. I'm not going to take any other question again. I'm leaving. I'll see you people on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, ma.
Bye.